we'll start with your prediction.
Yeah, I posted mine 2 days ago on our game data page. I just thought, Ryan Day, maybe he's the Lincoln Riley here, and Dabo Sweeney is the Urban Meyer. And I'd likened it to that game a couple of years ago where Riley, in his second game as a head coach, went into Ohio Stadium and beat Urban Meyer's 16th year as a head coach, 3 national championships. Obviously, it helped he had the best player in college football that day on the field with Baker Mayfield. But certainly, I just think Ohio State with Ryan Day, he's harnessed the human spirit. And, Clemson, they may bring their guts and may bring their 6'6", 220-pound quarterback and the freak Isaiah Simmons on the other side and so on and so forth. But, let's not, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. And they haven't been in a situation like this all season against the talent-equated situation. I mean, and you think about, maybe Ohio State hasn't played a group of wide receivers like Clemson, but they did play KJ Hamler and Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Quintez Cephas gave them some fits in the second game from Wisconsin. So maybe it wasn't in one game, but they played like guys. I mean, at various points in the season. So they played Jonathan Taylor. He's as good or better than Travis Etienne. So I don't know. I'm saying 34-31 Ohio State. Down to the wire, Buckeyes pull it out.
I'll jump in. Oh, go ahead, Gary. All right, I'm going. I don't have as long of an answer there. I just think that this is the year that Ohio State exercises the demons. In 16, they had to make some changes of where they had coaches seated in press box versus the field, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. While I did pick Ohio State to win that year 35-23, I think I probably knew in my heart of hearts that that offense was extremely limited. Maybe we just weren't ready to, or I wasn't ready to anoint Clemson as a perennial power, which they certainly have now at this point. But I think that the Ohio State passing game, backed by the Ohio State running game, but I really think that Justin Fields will come out about 95%. He'll have a big game throwing it to Chris Olave and to Garrett Wilson. Defensively, I think they'll stymie the run enough to really make Clemson one-dimensional, and that'll still be good enough for 31 points. But I like Ohio State to score 35, so 35-31 Ohio State.
When I was pressured for a score prediction a few days ago, my immediate thought was 34-31 Clemson. And so I'm going to stick with that because you should never go against your first intuition in anything, including especially sports score predictions. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 34-31 Clemson, even though, like I told you guys, if Ohio State can run and they can protect Justin Fields, I think they'll be fine. But then I go back to that first half against Michigan with Shea Patterson throwing the ball all over the place. And of course, there's no Sean Wade there. But Ohio State is going to have to adjust much quicker than they have in the past couple of games. Now, they've shown an ability to adjust very quickly. In fact, go back to the Nebraska game. But I'll go Clemson just because that was my first thought, and I'm going to stick with it. And if I'm wrong, I'll see you guys in New Orleans.
When you watch sports for a long time, you rarely get surprised by anything. But I would be somewhat surprised if this is not just a really, really good game. And we've had 5 years of playoffs. We had a good Ohio State-Alabama semifinal game and the Rose Bowl with Oklahoma-Georgia. Other than that, it's typically been bad games in the semifinals because there's been one or two teams that have differentiated themselves. And maybe we've got 3 teams this year. That's what everybody thinks. Most people think. That's what I personally think as well. But I think this is the best. These are the 2 best teams in the country, I believe. I think LSU's close, very close, and maybe they'll prove me wrong and win the whole thing. But I think this is another Ohio State-Alabama type matchup from 2014 where we've got the 2 best teams, and the winner of this one will win it all.
I like your thinking.